So this tool will work very similar to what we just did in terms of the array in the composite. So you can select that you want 3 columns, you want 2 rows, you want them to be 3 inch by 3 inch, and then enter. And here is, and then all you do is you drag and drop it onto the page. You can also do 1 and 1, so you can say I want something to be 7 inch wide by 4 inch high, enter, just bring it onto the page. Now you can say I want something 4 inch by 4 inch, enter, and then this can come up to the end of your design. Shift the two together. I was lucky enough I actually have them aligned, but if they weren't aligned, I could have just aligned them, center them, or I can just move them down to the bottom of the page like this. Now you'll notice when I select one, up here it shows you what I've selected. If I shift click and select both, you notice my selection has expanded. So I've got now an aperture that will be exactly the same width as what I have before. But I actually want to change the height a little bit, so I just want to make it, instead of 4 inch high, make it 4.5. Just put it here for now. And then same thing, just to align it quickly, select any of the 2 apertures. Now I need this to be aligned to the right edge of this print. I just go align right edge, and that's it. I can shift all 3 and have them centered. Now if you want these spacing to be equal, the easiest way is just use the nudge tool, which is up to here. It says nudge. Now you can use your arrows and actually move the aperture 1 step at a time. When they turn to red, that means you've moved the apertures too close together, and we can't actually cut an aperture that close. It has to be 10 millimeters apart. So then you can move away 1 or 2 steps. By selecting all 3, you'll notice the black line is very similar. That means they're all the same distance away from each other. And center all. Okay, now if I have some images, I can bring them into here. That's it. Now if I'm happy with this design, same thing, I'll go up and say Save Personal Mat. Okay, so if I go to my personal mats, here it is. Just get rid of this design, drag this on and let go. Now you notice it's the same design. The beauty with this is it's still flexible. So what I can do now is I can flip this design horizontal. I can also flip these 2 vertical. So before you know it, it's something that looks totally different than this on this side, but it will still work in a similar design. So here we go. It's like or I can do it a mirror. So if I flip it horizontal, pretty much now it's become like a mirror. So definitely using personal mats is very important. Like I said, probably the first or second album will take you a while to design, but once it's designed, it's very easy to then save as your personal mats, and as you go, you have your own personal for the year or 2 years, and then it will become so much quicker designing albums. So now that we have our album designed, we can go up to album preview. In preview, we can mix and match and move things around. So what we can do, we can delete something. So if you don't want this page, let's click on that page and just delete it, minus. I can delete this one as well. Here we go. So we've got a small little album. So now we can move on and check out the control panel, which is the last step. Now in the control panel, it's yellow, and here on the right hand side is our sub-menus. So print album report is what a lot of photographers use, and that's to print PDF printouts of the design, or you can print an album report and give it to your retoucher to retouch your images. You can select, so after clicking on print album, this is slightly different in Mac. So in a PC, you click on print album report, your print up dialog comes up. You can select a specific printer to print it on paper, or you can say save to PDF. PCs do not come with a PDF writer, so you have to download a PDF writer. Qt PDF writer is a free PDF writer you can download and install. Now Mac computers, they all come with a PDF writer. In a Mac computer, you click on print album report, comes up with the first dialog, you click on OK, and then down the bottom here you come up, it says save PDF. You use that Dropbox and then you save it as a PDF. Now I'll skip locate high res, we'll come back to it in a sec. Order pre-checks is important to visit, just to let you know if you've done or haven't done something before you're ready to order. So at the moment I've got everything ticked but one X, and that's component images required for print and assembly. Because I have selected Albumsaustralia to print this album for me, there's a special output that I need to do. So it's just letting me know that I haven't done this output, which is fine because that's the last thing I need to do. So at the moment everything's fine. If my high res have been missing, so at the moment I've got the high res on the desktop, but I might have moved them to a backup hard drive or somewhere else. If that's the case, TDA can't find the high res to do the output, then I'll come to locate high res. TDA tells me where I've got them. At the moment, my source folder is the desktop, and it's called One Test Print. If I've changed and moved them somewhere else, all I have to do is click on this and then tell TDA where those images are. And then what happened, the images will turn to black. So at the moment, I've done the opposite. I've actually lost my images intentionally, and they're all in red. So if I go to do any output, it will say missing files. If that's the case, I go to my locate high res, and this will tell me, oh yes, all my images are in red, something has gone missing. So I'll click on the desktop JPEG, and I know that they are here now, so I'll click on OK, and then everything's turned to black. Most who are on standard registration will need to pre-order the album before they access many of these options. And the reason we do that is just to unlock TDA, and that gives us a little order to tell us that you have unlocked TDA to do your outputs, and that you will commit to buy an album from us within the next 12 months. Because we offer TDA for free as part of being an Albumsaustralia client, we need you to be ordering those albums through us. So that's why we have a pre-order. This will unlock the software. You can go ahead, do all your outputs, do all your reporting, printing, retouching, but you've got 12 months to come back to us and order that album. If circumstances have changed, do give us a call and let us know, or send us an email, and then we can make changes to that pre-order that you did. We never go ahead and make the pre-order, so don't be scared about a pre-order. You can still make changes to the album. Okay, and by doing pre-order, all you have to do is click on the pre-order, and that will send it through to us. Now, at the moment, my SMTP, which is what's used to send an order, is set up for work, and I'm working from home today, so which is a different internet supplier, so I have to remember to change this. So at the moment I'm home, so it's mail.optusnet.com.au. This is something you have to be careful of, especially if you're working from a laptop and you're working from different location, from the office or home. Be careful and make sure you have SMTP settings saved somewhere in your notes for both locations, so you can change that. Click on pre-order. Okay, now just before we order the album, we might have a bride and groom that come back to us and say, oh, my parents saw the design and they would love to have their own Panet album. So yeah, that's not a problem at all. What we can do, we can go up to this new menu point up here and add Panet Albums. So we do need to do this before you order the main album to get some discounts as built-in price of a Panet album. So what you do is go to add Panet album, you move on to convert album to, and you've got the option of a magazine album, studio magazine, or matchbook. Now the difference between magazine and studio magazine is an album that we have charged you for assembly, so we will assemble all your prints for you. A studio magazine is an album that we will send you with special adhesive on the pages, and then you can assemble the images yourself. A matchbook is those little round cornered books with photo covers, so we'll create a matchbook. Now this was a horizontal album, so I'll go for 5x7 horizontal. Now TDA is telling me that because I was working with a different sort of shape, I'm working with a 16x12 inch album, and 7x5 is not the exact replica. It's telling me that it needs to be 6.5x5. You know what I want to do, and I say yes, change the size. Ask me to save it, so I'll just put P1 for Panet Album 1 and save. Same thing, this might take a minute or two. And what's happening now, it has actually created this mini magazine or matchbook in this instant version of our album. Even though our album had mats in it and had iMix where it has half magazine, half mat, but now it has all been changed, and if I go through the pages I can show you it's all become a digital magazine. So all our apertures are no longer apertures, it's now a mini magazine album. Go to the control panel and say order pre-checks. Okay, we've got some warnings here. So it's telling me that we haven't assigned front or a back cover and we haven't selected packaging. Now I can just click on select packaging and select what I want. So I might want a box, okay, and that's been ticked. Now for the covers I need to assign some images. So I'm going to go to the cover designer, and this is the cover, and the cross show me where the image needs to go. So if I go to location, just drag and drop, scale that slightly. Now this gray area here is part of the image that will be overlapped with the cover material of the spine. So it's important to just be aware of that. So this will be hidden. Let's just for the sake of this exercise, I'll put the bride's hair just next to it just so you guys can see what I mean. And here we go, that's the spine. You can double click and then align the way, but just keep in mind that that's where the spine is. Here we go. Now we can go show back cover. Now what I want to do in the back cover, I don't want to add an image, so I can click on edit cover option. So front cover is to keep it as a photo cover, but rear photo cover I can say assign plain. Okay, so the rear is black now material and the front has a photo on it. Okay, now that I've done this, all I have to do is go back to the main album, save, and now that I'm in the main album I can go back to control panel. Now I can, you notice in the order album screen, Panet Album 1. So this is the main album up here, and now we've got the Panet Album screen. So I can control the Panet Album from this side. So it's telling me that I haven't pre-ordered the Panet Album. So I'll do this now, pre-order. By pre-ordering the Panet Album, now the two albums are going to work together as one. So I can output them as one, I can order them as one. Okay. Now, if I've created too many Panet albums, or if I created the wrong size, I can always click on this down box and say order this album separately. Okay. By doing this, now I'm going to order just the main album and forget about the Panet album. You know, I might create 4 Panet album, and then the couple might come back to you and say, oh, we've changed our mind, we only want 3 or 2. So it's easy just to cancel a Panet album. You don't have to delete it. You just say, you know, order this album separately, but you never have to order it.